Andy Ruiz is a big fat pig, and Anthony Joshua underperformed. Can somebody please tell me what the fuck is going on? I will be more than happy to tell you what is going on. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's Boxing Talk with Rafi. Episode 76. Okay, let me head on over to the YouTube channel and see what is going on. Let me do a sound check. Let me do Combat Radio. Yes. Okay. We are live. Let me turn myself up in the cans. 1 2 1 2. Okay. Much better. Okay, this is an impromptu show. As you know, as regulars will know, we do a Monday and Wednesday 10 p.m. UK time. This is a Friday. Couldn't make Wednesday. Work commitments meant that was not possible. It's been a long time since I missed the Wednesday. You know I like to do 2 a week. Don't feel right unless I do it 2 times. 2 times. Got to do it 2 times. I feel like I've left you hanging if I don't give you the second time. If I don't do it the second time, I feel like I've left you hanging. Can't have that. Okay. So, you weren't expecting this one. But I had a bit of time. So if I get some time on Friday, I'm doing it. We're going in for the second live show. Okay, let me go and check over in the other studio. Okay, everything seems to be running appropriately. Let me check my algorithms. Let me check the algorithms. Let me check that everything is in place. Everything appears to be in place. Excellente. See what's going on over here. Everything on the technical side appears to be a-okay. And now we can commence. Now we can commence with the show as people populate the area. Coming in saying, Rafi, I didn't know he was going to do one today. I didn't know he was going to do one on a Friday, Rafi. What's going on? Okay, so let's get into the topics. Let's get into the titles. Let's look at the titles first of all. Toby Bartlett in the building. Okay, so topics for discussion. We're looking at the Andy Ruiz Backlash. That's one topic. Another is AJ a runner. And Will Wilder fight in the UK. He's been making up some noise talking about, I don't know if I'll be able to, I don't know if it's going to be fair over there. You know, we've seen some things over there, irregularities. We've seen some irregularities over there, and you know, I don't know if we're going to get a fair crack of the whip on the Eddie Hearn plantation. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Okay, so, and of course, we shall be looking at the title fights. A couple of title fights going down this weekend. It's Friday. They'll be going down on Saturday. Richard Comey versus Teofimo Lopez. That's one of them. And of course, Terence Crawford versus Kabaluska. That's a tricky one to pronounce. And of course, that one's for the WBO, World Welterweight title. Whereas the Colmay versus Lopez will be for the IBF World Lightweight title. Okay. Those are the main topics for discussion. Got to be done. Okay. So, where do we begin? Where do I begin? Let's have a look at the topic sheet. Okay, so AJ finds love. Let's do a war. I think we need a warm-in video. I think we need a warm-in video at a time like this. I think we need a quick warm-in video. Let me take a look. Let me share. We need a quick one. We need a quick warm-in video. Let people know the show. Let them see the red spot. To show them that we are alive. Where is it? Let's give them some. Yeah, this is the one. This is a quick one. This is a quick video. Damn, ease up. Let's take that back from the beginning. Yeah. Yes. Hold on, let's tidy this thing up. First and foremost, let's kill the music. Let's turn the volume up. And now I believe, we are ready. To commence. Let us go with the warm-in video. Dawkins, the Combat Radio is the like. And it's a subscribe if you have not subscribed but enjoy the content. But anyway, let's get into this story. So this is quick video, two-parter. First part is Saudi Arabia showing Anthony Joshua love. And the second part, we address health issues suffered by Anthony Joshua prior to the first Andy Ruiz fight. But first of all, let's take a look at first part is Anthony Joshua's departure. I think he was heading to the airport at this point in Saudi Arabia. Let's line this up. Okay. Let's go. Watch again. I had to do it twice. Can I get a two-time? I know the thing already. I am in. Oh, cover. Respect. Jamaican family back. What a time to buffer. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I think it's Twitter. Can't my broadband. Cannot be my broadband. Can I get a two-time? Big man,
Okay. So that was where are we? That was AJ Love in Saudi. Seemed like they treated him really well out there. And the second part of this is Anthony Joshua, world champion, had health issues before the first Andy Ruiz fight. Okay, so John Daly was very kind enough to send me the Radio 5 live link where he spoke about this live on Radio 5. I think it was Radio 5. Bunsey, whatever channel Bunsey's on. Okay, so Joshua spoke of health issues prior to the first Ruiz fight. He said he would reveal what was crack-a-lacking at the time, and seems like this might be the revelation. Joshua says, I had some issues with my health, which was going on for a long time. Yeah, he told the Radio 5 live boxing podcast. He added, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I felt so tired and drained and thought it must be down to the training. In the changing room prior to the fight, I got a bucket of ice cold water and was putting my head in it, thinking, why do I feel so tired? The responsibilities of being world champion are difficult. Feeling so tired, dealing with obligations, all that stuff. Now I have energy. I haven't missed a session. He added, after my checkups, it showed what the problem was and what I had to do to get it sorted. Even in this camp, I had an operation done. But as I had started training way back in June, I had no issues. I was 2 weeks out, but came back just fine. So Joshua refused to say what the operation was, but it is understood the procedure he had was linked to the issues diagnosed after his defeat by Ruiz. So Joshua had hinted previously that he had something to reveal about what went on prior to the first Ruiz fight, and this provided some insight. Now he's back, and now he says he's back and focused. Okay, so that's a little video. Thought I'd drop something for you. Drop some new material. You know, I like to keep it pumping on a daily. It's a daily grind over here at Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Okay, so for sure, like, subscribe, comment, and share. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. It's Raphael Dawkins, it's the Combat Radio, it's the like, it's the subscribe, it's the comment, it's the shares, and it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. And yeah, for sure, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Live shows weekly. It's Raphael Dawkins. Have your say. Combat Radio. And I am out. One more time. Can I get a 2-time?
Okay. Let me get the music back in and let's see what the state of play is. Okay, music's back. Let's go into yes. The area is populated. Things are looking nice and respectable now. For a few minutes, it was just Toby and I. But now, full crew in the area. Okay. First and foremost, let me put the link in the description box. We're here for a good time, not a long time. Had to give you the second show. Couldn't leave you with just one. couldn't leave you with just one live show. Okay. Link in the description box. Okay, so first things first. Let's do the roll call. Let's do the roll call. Toby Bartlett. Bat-ish crazy. Shiz Biz in the area. And John D. Lee. Who else we got? Who else we got? Who else have we got in the area? Rue, the 504. Big up. Scrolling down, we have Marla from down there in New Zealand. Early morning for them guys. What, about 11? About 11 o'clock now? Maybe 12. It's midday. It's midday down in New Zealand. Big up to you, Marla. Okay, it's all good. WBC Mafia. Okay, so welcoming in. It's the John D. Lee. I think he's in his. I think is that the where is he? No, he's not. He's not in his nice kitchen today. He's not in his nice.
It is the kitchen, Rafi.
It is the nice kitchen. It is the nice kitchen. I was wondering what I was seeing in the background. It is the nice kitchen. Okay, John D. Lee, how do you do?
Yeah, good, Rafi.
Excellente. Been a busy week for me. Timetable issues with work and what have you. And even today was kind of touch and go. There is an American channel, an American fella with his own YouTube channel, quite a decent sized channel, who is currently over in the UK. And we're going to be doing a collaboration at some point. But today he was going to be meeting a controversial figure, popular controversial figure who I shall not name because that might come off tomorrow. And he invited me to come along. So that would have been interesting. Unfortunately, that deal, I think it fell through for today, but hopefully we can get that crunk for tomorrow. And yeah, hopefully we can get that done. But in the meantime, so that's, I'm not going to give away any names or any secrets. But in the meantime, we are just going to, what time is it? Okay, we are going to crack on. Boom. Gonna blaze through these topics, blaze through them. Right. First and foremost, where do I want to start? Okay. We're just going in. We're going in hard. Going in hard. No messing around. Here is the title of this piece. Topic for discussion. Tyson Fury should decline mandatory status just like he did before. And you will remember, you'll remember in the chat, John, you may remember when Tyson Fury declined the mandatory order to face by the WBC, to face Dillian Whyte. He declined. He said, put the diamond belt on the line or whatever, the magenta belt, I don't know. On the line, and yeah, I'll do it. They put it on the line, and he said no. Said no, thank you. I'm lineal champion. Lineal champion don't fight mandatories. We don't do mandatories. We fight who we want to fight. And he declined. But this time around, he has accepted, or yeah, it appears he has accepted the mandatory position to fight Deontay, the Bronze Bomber Wilder. Now the consequence of that is that this just allows the WBC the opportunity to further delay is it the WBC or is it Deontay Wilder himself? The WBC or Deontay Wilder himself, either or both. It just gives them the opportunity to further delay Dillian Whyte getting his title shot. What's that? So, in essence, what I'm saying is that if Tyson Fury declined that mandatory position, the fight still goes ahead anyway. The fight still goes ahead. There's nothing to be gained by Tyson Fury by accepting the mandatory. All he has to say is, "Yeah, I'm fighting him, but I don't need mandatory. I don't need mandatory. I'm the big lineal champion. I don't need mandatory." John D. Lee.
Loving the Manc accent.
Well, you know, I've had some occasions where I have been in contact with Mancunians, you know, so I like to think I've got that Lanx twang when I need it, you know.
You're talking through your nose nicely.
Very nasal. Very nasal.
The thing with this whole situation is the fight's been signed, apparently, for ages.
Yeah.
And then Dillian's had his issues, which are now resolved. But as soon as they happened, he had his mandatory status suspended. And about a month later, Mauricio has just decided to say that it's a mandatory fight.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a bit sort of, I'm not sure Mauricio knows what mandatory means. So maybe we should send him an email and just explain that. A mandatory fight is when the governing body mandates that you fight. You don't assign that status to a fight that's already been signed. And it just seems to be part of a way to allow Deontay to fulfill the mandatory next year so that he doesn't have to do another one.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not sure what Tyson can do about it, is my point.
Well, I'd say two-time, yes, hey.
You're on to it now.
Two-time.
You were slow with that on Monday.
I was slow with that on Monday, even though I'd posted that in several comment sections prior to that.
Rafi was firing up the machine. His concentration was elsewhere.
Well, if you'd have sung it like two-time.
You don't want me to sing, Raf.
Well, you know,
people pay me to not sing. I'm not a crooner like you.
Oh dear. So
yes, for a football song on the terraces, Rafi. It's that bad.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's not good.
Well, perhaps it's better for the betterment of mankind that you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So two-time. Yeah. So the benefit Fury gains nothing from this.
No, I don't think he gets anything out of it other than, does he have to pay a sanctioning fee as well?
Mandatory. I'm not sure. Don't want to speak out of school.
I'll double check that. I'll try and fact check that all wrong. Because if he doesn't, if he doesn't pay his sanctioning fee, then they'll have to remove mandatory status if that is the case. That's the only thing I can see that Tyson could proactively do about it.
Yeah.
Because when they tried to mandate him to fight Dillian Whyte, he refused to fight Dillian.
Yes.
Well, he's not going to pull out of this fight, I don't think.
No, I don't think he's going to pull out of it.
There was a time when I thought he would, but the more Aram talks, the more I think Aram's going to say, well, if you want this money, you better get in there because we need to recoup it on the big fat loss we've been making off your shows.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So the only thing I can think of is for Tyson Fury not to pay any associated sanctioning fees to the WBC.
But if he wins, he's got to, because he's a champion.
Oh yeah, if he wins, he's got to. Yeah, but I'll
see if I can find anything out about whether a mandatory challenger actually has to pay a sanctioning fee.
Okay. Okay.
because
Yeah.
that's the only way I can see him actually getting out of it.
Yeah. So people in the chat, if you do a quick Google search, does the mandatory WBC mandatory have to pay a sanctioning fee pertaining to the mandatory position? I'm not sure. But yeah, if Tyson Fury declines the mandatory position, then that means that no mandatory will have taken place in 2019, or sorry, 2020, and then that's good for Dillian Whyte because they're trying to push him back. WBC, or is it Deontay Wilder, are trying to push him back to 2021. But here's the thing. When Dillian Whyte was mandatory, Dillian Whyte is the WBC interim heavyweight champion, and he was the mandatory. He had mandatory position. But when the story leaked, when a confidential story between Dillian Whyte and UCAD was leaked, the WBC took the position, strange position, of suspending Dillian Whyte's mandatory position and his interim championship. Now that Dillian Whyte is in the clear, now that he's been cleared of wrongdoing by UCAD, now the position that he was in before should be the same position he's in now, i.e. he should be mandatory and he should be interim champion. So the WBC have restored his interim champion status, but they have not restored his mandatory status. So the question is, why is Dillian Whyte not the mandatory? Why did that change? He should have been restored to a full mandatory position. Why not? What is the explanation from the WBC why Dillian Whyte has not been restored to exactly the same position that he was in before they took the decision to suspend him? And I put it to you, members of the jury, that there is no explanation, no satisfactory explanation has been provided as to why Dillian Whyte has not been restored to exactly the same position he was in before the suspension. Why has he not been restored? I put it to you, members of the jury, that is unjust. And justice, we want justice. I'm wondering if my thing is frozen over this side. Wondering if my thing is frozen over this side. Yo, why was Marla timed out? Yo, why was Marla timed out? I think somebody accidentally timed out Marla. I know who did it, but why? Why was Marla timed out? Hello. Why was Marla timed out? Okay, takes 10 seconds for that to come back to me. Okay, Marla, I think Toby Bartlett accidentally timed you out. I'm assuming it was an accident. Okay, so just clarify that, please, Toby, in the chat there. Yeah, I see it. I see it right here. Marla was timed out by Toby Bartlett for 300 seconds. Toby Bartlett. Toby Bartlett. You timed out Toby. He's back now. I'm assuming it was an accident. Okay, it was an accident. Yeah, sorry about that, Marla. Okay, right, so back on with the show. Where are we? Okay. AOBZ said it hasn't changed because Wilder asked the WBC to make Fury Mando. Hence, Whyte has to wait. Whyte has to wait. Who is this? Hello.
What's going on, you guys?
Oh, it's Justin.
Yes.
Justin. How you doing, Justin?
Good. I made a song about Andy Ruiz when he came in overweight.
You made a song?
Yeah, about Andy Ruiz when he came in overweight.
All right, go for it.
All right. I'm the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour. What you see is what you get, and what you don't is better yet. I'm the misregret, and if you bet against me, you made a bad bet. Andy Ruiz, 285 pounds and 6'4". Boy, until I saw you, I never thought crab could stack that high. There you go.
Okay. I appreciate that. Just shows I'm not the only musical one. I'm not the only musical one on the show. Okay, I see that private message there. Okay, so where are we? OBZ says it hasn't changed because Wilder asked the WBC to make Fury Mando. What hasn't changed? It has changed. Dillian Whyte was in the mandatory spot, and now he is not. So it has changed. That was not the position before. Fuzzy is here. Fuzzy is in the building. Good evening to you, Fuzzy. I forget where you are. Are you in Australia? Good day, mate. Okay, where are we? Yes, Rue says it best. Justice for Whyte. I want justice for Whyte. He needs to be returned to exactly the same position he was in beforehand. No problem, Marla. No problem. John Daly, did you find something?
No, I can't find anything about what mandatory challengers do. I do know for a fact that Dillian has been paying them sanctioning fees since he beat Hellenius.
Yes.
He's been paying them sanctioning fees for the silver belt.
Yeah.
And then obviously he's been paying it for the interim title as well.
Yes.
So they're collecting all this money off Dillian.
Yeah.
People who aren't paying sanctioning fees.
I thought you was dead.
Does anyone know Billy C boxing?
I agree.
Yeah, it looks like Billy C.
Whyte.
The moustache.
I don't know what you're talking about. To me, it looks like I thought it was Saddam Hussein, to be honest with you. But now the light's gone on. I'm not so sure. It could be Groucho Marx.
There's a lot of famous tush wearers.
I got skin cancer.
Don't joke about things like that, Justin.
No, you don't want that.
Don't joke about things. That's probably somebody watching or somebody watching who knows somebody who's suffering from that. So let's not joke about fatal illnesses. But anyway, that's a good mask. That's a good tash.
No, it's not a mask.
Check out Billy C boxing, Justin.
Yeah.
It's an American channel.
Yeah, not yet though.
Just not now.
Not
he
now.
looks just like your mask.
Not now, Justin. That's a homework project.
But
yeah.
So Brazil wasn't paying any sanctioning fees prior to the fight. Fury's not paying the WBC any sanctioning fees.
Nope.
Dillian's been paying them since 2017.
Yeah. Just mute yourself. Mute yourself when you're not speaking, Justin, because we can hear your movement and you through the mic. Thank you. Yeah.
So they're really doing him dirty. They're collecting his money because he's trying to work his way up the rankings in the way that he's supposed to.
Yeah.
And they're taking the money, and yet every other man and his dog's getting made mandatory ahead of him.
It's ridiculous.
It's just they're not fair. Then well, I'd like to see justice for him, but having, we've gone through the rules a few times.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening because they'll just revert to what they'll say. We have made him mandatory again. He's the second mandatory after the Tyson Fury fight.
It needs to be first. This is carrot juice, by the way.
I completely agree with you, Rafi. I just don't think Mauricio's going to play ball. And because he's got the rules of his organisation on his side, I don't see what anyone can actually do.
Justin, Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte has been reinstated as the WBC interim champion, but he has not been stated as immediate mandatory. What is your position?
Well, even if Whyte was stated as the mandatory, I think he would kind of be in a trap position because, like, with all the distractions he had, and, he didn't look the best in his last fight, whether he came in on a 3-week camp or not, he didn't look the best. So I think that if I was in his position, of course, Wilder would be a big money fight. But if I actually want to win a belt, I think that I would be in like kind of a trapped spot if I was the mandatory. So if I was him, I'd be happy that I'm not the mandatory, but it's kind of a weird situation.
Well, if you were mandatory, it wouldn't mean he'd be fighting in February. That fight's already booked, so Fury would still be fighting in February. But
and also not to say that mandatories fall out all the time. So if he was the mandatory, it's probably, of course, Fury, Wilder set for February, but,
So if he were mandatory, he'd be looking at later on in 2020 rather than early 2021 at the soonest. So the benefit of being mandatory would be that he would be in line for a shot in 2020. That would be the benefit of that. But okay, so where are we? Let's mute that. Okay.
And the site's a little bit off topic, Rafi, but it's to do with Dillian.
Yeah.
He's gone on record on Sky saying that he wants to fight Andy Ruiz.
I've heard him say that.
Yeah. I think for March.
That's interesting.
I'd like to see that fight.
Hey, if they want to make it happen, I'm sure, mind you, he might have developed a bit of a diva streak. So it might be as difficult negotiating with Andy.
Maybe, but it would make some money.
Deontay Wilder. Yeah.
It's going to make more money than anything the PBC can offer him. That's
interesting. That's very, very interesting.
Because that'd sell the O2 out and do decent pay-per-view numbers there.
Yeah. So I hope Ruiz understands that he's not looking at his last wage check. He's looking more at his first wage check, something of that nature.
Well, AJ is one of the very few fighters that can get a pay rise after a loss, isn't he?
Yeah. I'm talking about. I'm talking about Ruiz.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Abdullah Ibrahim, he says, I think he ran. He's talking about Joshua and the title. I think he ran. He didn't do much boxing, just used his footwork to move around the ring. Okay. So we might as well get into that. Might as well touch on that right now. Did Anthony Joshua run? And I'll go with Justin first of all.
Okay, so a lot of people have probably heard me say that I said this a million times, but he did not run. He outboxed Ruiz, used his footwork, and just completely outboxed them, used the Klitschko tactic, which I'm not going to lie, it was a boring fight, and I wanted Ruiz to win. Actually, I take that back. I didn't want Ruiz to win because the heavyweight division is more exciting right now because Joshua's the champion. But he outboxed him, stuck by the jab, clinched when Ruiz went on the inside. And I know there's this clip going around of, like, Joshua saying, like, I think it was in 2015 when Fury beat Klitschko, that it was like, he said, Tyson Fury books 12 rounds and run. You can't respect that. But again, that was a different type of Joshua. That was 5 years ago, and of course, I know some people are gonna say I'm a Joshua fan, but I'm not a fan of any fighter. If anything, I'm a fan of Sonny Liston. That's my take on it. And that was a different Joshua than it is now. And I think this was a one-time tactic for Joshua. Actually, he's probably going to use the tactic again, but it was just like, if you lose this fight, Joshua, you're going to be written off. So,
yeah, yes. John Daly, what's your position on the topic? Did Joshua run?
Well, I think there's two things. First of all, it's a pretty good right hand that he smashed his eye up with in the first round.
Yeah.
And I think that deterred Andy Ruiz from coming in. I think the onus was on Andy Ruiz to close the distance, which he failed to do. So he used good movement to utilise his natural advantages to win at a canter. That's what boxing is.
Mm-hmm.
He also was pretty active with his punches. He had the 1-2 going nicely. And I think he did the right thing. I think Andy Ruiz has got to have as much responsibility for the outcome of the fight, because he didn't seem as eager to come in as he was last fight.
Mm.
And he had his head snapped back quite a bit.
Yep.
So Joshua employed the tactic of hit and not be hit.
Yes.
Last time I checked, that's what boxing was.
Yes.
last time I checked, you're from the UK.
Meaning?
I certainly am, Justin, and I believe you're an American.
Yeah. Last time I checked, you was in America.
Justin, have you heard of Muhammad Ali?
What Muhammad Ali question?
I just want to know if you know who he is.
Yeah,
I'm assuming that you do.
I watch boxing. Who doesn't know who the greatest heavyweights of all time is?
On that basis, what type of tactics did Muhammad Ali employ when he fought fighters?
Footwork, he flew like a butterfly and he stung like a bee. The fantastic jab, the footwork moving around the ring. Actually, right now, watch what I'm about to do. I know there's a couple stickers on my room right now. Yeah, I got this room when I was 5 years old, so there's stickers on it. But I'm about to like take down all the stickers right now, and you could see I know who Muhammad Ali is. If you could see the poster.
Yep.
So my point was, did Muhammad Ali? Okay.
Yeah, the shoulders are nice and hunched up. Yeah. Yeah, that's impressive. That was impressive.
I've got a shuffle going. Everybody loves a shuffle.
Okay, Justin. Okay, I appreciate that. I'm moving on, Justin. Okay.
I've got a couple Muhammad Ali shirts too.
Yeah. Okay, Justin, that's cool. So, what am I saying now? Okay, kind of flustered me there when you did the Ali shuffle. Kind of flustered me a little bit. Took me off track, but it's all good. Okay, so in response, my take. Joshua ran. I think that's one of the most ludicrous statements that's out there right now, floating out there right now. I think it's utterly bizarre and ludicrous when John Daly points out and Justin points out that one of the greatest who ever did it employed a strategy of hit and not be hit. And of course, that was a strategy, not just the upstairs strategy, downstairs with the feet. Move your feet. Get in range when you want to be in range. Use your feet to do so. Use your feet to come out of range. Use your feet for forward, backward, and lateral movement. And of course, at the appropriate times, you plant the feet. Okay, even better still, if you can cause damage whilst on the move, then you're dealing with optimal effectiveness.
And there's just one last point on that I want to address.
Yeah.
Did anyone see Wilder Stavern one?
Indeed. Lots of movement.
Pretty sure that was the same tactics, but with a potentially worse opponent.
Yeah. Indeed.
So Wilder wants to choose his words more carefully, I think.
100%. 100%. So we're moving on. Jab and run. Jab and move. Rinse and repeat for 12 rounds. Yeah. Jab and move. If you replace the word run with move, if you replace the word move, run with move, then you are on the money. Okay, so peace out. Ru is out. Thanks for coming over, Ru. Okay, folks, so smash that like button if you like. Smash that subscribe button if you have not done so already. And for sure, to help us get those pay-per-view shows in, smash that PayPal button too. Okay. Jamaican Boxing in the building. And interestingly, Fozzy is in Nottingham. The guy I was going to interview today is also in Nottingham. Can't give you any more clues than that. Okay. OBZ. I want Whyte to wait and KO Wilder. He can fight the other ranked opponents in the WBC. I want to see him against Wilder after Fury. Marla says Whyte deserves a title shot, just got to get himself physically and mentally in the right place to give himself the best chance. What are you saying, Justin?
We all know that Joshua, let me do my Mike Tyson impression for this one. We all know that Anthony Joshua, great young talent as myself. I used to look above myself. Great young talent for Anthony Joshua. He just overcome Andy Ruiz. All the nerves coming into the ring. He overcome Andy Ruiz, and I don't know what's mandatory he's gonna face, but whichever mandatory he faces, I'm gonna rip his ear and eat his children. Praising to Allah.
Okay, so where are we? Yeah. So Marla says Whyte deserves a title shot, just got to get himself physically and mentally in the right place to give himself the best chance. Well, Marla, I think the best shot in the arm, the best pick me up for Whyte right now would be to be told that he is the mandatory and he's fighting Deontay Wilder in the latter part of 2020. That would be the best shot in the arm. That would be the best tonic, the best elixir of life that Dillian Whyte could receive right now. It's like trying to wait him out, trying to make him make a mistake, trying to force him into making a mistake or slipping up or something of that nature. The best tonic that Dillian Whyte could receive right now is a notification that he has a mandated fight date in 2020. That would be awesome.
To fight one of the champions, you think?
What's going on here? There should be an age limit. No, I think Justin knows his stuff. Yes, Melvin Evans, big up in the building. Yeah.
Raphael.
Yeah.
You said that that the best case scenario for Whyte would be to have a mandated champion for 2020.
Mandated fight date for 2020. Yeah.
against one of the champions.
against Dillian against Deontay Wilder?
Well, first of all, like I said, all the distractions, the steroid distraction, that's out of the womb, sort of say now, but it still distracted him, and he's not in shape as he would be if it wasn't for that distracting him, and of course the layoff from training and his last fight performance. I think the best case scenario would for him to be not to face a champion, because it's gonna take a couple of months before he really gets back into the shape that he was in the Dillian Whyte or Joseph Parker sort of say. He didn't really look that actually, I can't even say that because I'm a real one, and I was gonna say that he didn't look in best of shape in the Oscar Rivas fight, but I didn't watch that fight. So I don't know, but he has to look in better shape, because if he faces whether what the outcome is, if Wilder loses to Fury, Wilder's gonna knock that spork out. Boom. That was my horrible Tyson Fury impression, but I fancy the Mike Tyson impression. That was a horrible impression too. Sorry, guys.
What I'm saying is that if Dillian Whyte gets a date, it will be after Tyson Fury. So it won't be in February. We'll be talking about what? July, August. We'll be talking like 5 months, 6 months later. What's that? August, September. So we're talking from now till then. It's like 10 months. So he's got more than enough time to get into his best shape. So we're talking about the latter part or the second half of 2020. So ample amount of time.
And you know what that also is? That's a 10-month layoff or something right there. So
well, no, because
what I'm also saying,
he'd be fighting in the meantime. So it wouldn't be
Oh, okay. Now I see your point.
All right.
Okay, never mind.
No problem. That's cool. I don't think John, do you want to say something there?
Well, I think Justin's got a good point in that Dillian needs to be in shape.
Yeah.
I think he should stay busy between now and whenever. And the good thing about Dillian is he won't just take easy fights.
No.
And the best way to stay sharp is to fight good fights. So,
indeed.
The only thing that seems to be floating about, and Eddie Hearn said it was, how good a year would it be for Joshua if he fought Pulev, Usyk, and then finished the year off against Deontay Wilder. Now, if that gets negotiated successfully, there's no way that Deontay Wilder's going to fight Dillian Whyte in between. But again, that might just be pie in the sky from Eddie anyway.
What did you say? If Eddie did what?
I saw an interview in Saudi after the fight, and Eddie said that how good a year would it be if Joshua fought Pulev, then Usyk, then Deontay Wilder at the end of the year?
That would be a good year.
That would be one hell of a year.
So if they can pull that off, Deontay's not fighting Dillian.
If they can pull that off.
But on the flip side, if they pull that off and the WBC leave it as it is, Dillian will be Joshua's first mandatory.
If he wins. If he wins.
Well, or it'd be Wilder's first mandatory.
Yeah.
Disputed, whichever way it goes.
Yeah. The winner, of Joshua Wilder. Yeah.
So, I mean, I've got really mixed views because I actually think Dillian might beat Wilder and then we don't get that fight.
Well, if Dillian beats Wilder and we don't get to see Wilder Joshua, I don't have a problem with it because it's been offered to Wilder. The offer's been there.
The only thing I have an issue with is the fact I've already seen Joshua Dillian.
Yeah.
I think Dillian's come on since then, but I think Joshua has. So.
Yeah, I think it'll be a different fight though.
No, it would be a different fight. I mean, it would. That fight's always there, and they're gonna fight again, no doubt.
Yeah.
But if you gave me the choice of which one I could pick now, I'd rather see him fight Deontay
Yeah, I'd rather see that. But then I would rather see out of anybody, I would rather see Dillian Whyte fight Deontay than anybody else, just because they've mocked him around for so long.
I
Just because
understand
they've
that.
kept him waiting.
I'm really torn on it.
Guys,
Because
rest in peace, Jack Johnson, first boxing African American champion. Rest in peace, Jack Johnson.
Is this the anniversary of his death?
No, I just had to point that out.
Okay, Justin. John Daly, if you carry on, please.
yeah. So I'm kind of torn because I mean that's why I was pointing out about all the sanctioning fees that Dillian's paid.
Yeah.
He's so overdue that shot at Deontay, and he's done everything the right way. He's climbed the right, the governing body's rankings whilst paying sanctioning fees the whole time. So you couldn't ask any more of Dillian to get his shot.
Yeah.
And he's had other people put in front of him who haven't been paying those fees, so they're less deserving, full stop. So yeah, from a justice point of view, I can't disagree with you. From a selfish point of view,
yeah.
As a fan, I think that's why I'm a bit torn on it.
Yeah, I hear that. Justin.
Yes.
Justin, what's the question? Dillian Whyte. Who do you want to see? Who do you want to see Deontay Wilder fight the most? Forget about what's scheduled. Who do you want to see him fight the most? Put it in rank.
Well,
rank the one you want to see the most
I think,
first, then the second, then the third. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I think everybody knows who they want to see. Deontay Wilder face. Joe Joyce. No, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. Everybody in the chat, don't get all ragey. So my top 3 opponents for Joshua, who wants to face.
No.
Number 3.
Deontay Wilder. Who do you want to see Deontay?
Oh yeah, Deontay. Sorry. And the Joe Joyce fight was a joke. Okay, so Deontay Wilder, top 3 list. Number 3,
Number one.
Okay. Number 1, Anthony Joshua. We all know it. We all want unification. Everybody knows it. And the fight's sadly probably never going to happen. Floyd Pacquiao, where it's going to take 5 million years to happen. That was a figure of speech to all the dumbos in the chat. That was just a figure of speech. But
don't disrespect the chat. Don't disrespect the chat.
No, I'm just trying to throw a joke.
All right.
But yeah, we all want to see unification against Anthony Joshua. Number 2, I know Alexander Usyk is one of the mandatories for Joshua. I could be wrong. I only got it from 2 sources, but he's one of the mandatories for Joshua, and I think that would be a fun fight to see how he fares up against Wilder, the former cruiserweight champion. Alexander Usyk, who's undefeated, and it would be a fun match to see how he would fare well against Deontay Wilder. I think what's going to happen is he's going to be outboxing Wilder, and then somewhere he gets caught by a right hand and Wilder KOs him, or it could be, different. As we know, Alexander Usyk is a cruiserweight, so he could just be too small for Wilder, but I don't think that's the case. I didn't see his first fight at heavyweight, so that's why I'm kind of unsure. And number 3, Dillian Whyte. We've been wanting to see the fight for a while. Of course, Dillian Whyte was a mandatory at a point in time. The fight never came through, and we just want to see all that settled. I think Wilder KOs him. And I know there's going to be some people saying, what about Andy Ruiz? I mean, the guy's a fatty, and he's going to get caught. And to all the Mexicans out there, the first fight, whether you call it a fluke or not, the guy looked great, but he just ate too much tacos and tortillas leading up to the fight.
Okay, so what you 3? 1, 2, 3. Name them, please.
3. 3. Dillian Whyte. 2. Alexander Usyk won the unification against the Fighting Pride of Liverpool, London, Anthony Joshua. My Michael Buffer impression.
Oh,
That was a little bit of a Bruce Buffer since I had that anticipation.
okay. So, right. Let me answer a few questions in the chat. So, Marla says, Rude Boy, Ruiz did exactly what he needed to do. And funny, the way he fought for the second fight was how I thought he was going to fight for the first. Indeed. Indeed. Footwork is something you learn first in boxing. Indeed, says Adam James. What we got here? She's biz. Don't risk going for the KO when there's no need. 100%. Fury wasn't landing the punches. AJ was. That's another good point. Fury averaged 8 punches per round in the Vlad fight. That's some very low output. Very low output. I believe Josh could beat Ruiz on June the 1st with his brawling style if his head was right. Yeah, I think just stay out of that range. Just go in and out. Go in and out. Box smart. Box clever. Because due to Ruiz's lack of mobility, he wants you to come on in. Why give your opposition what they want? You know what I mean? What about giving them what they don't want? So box on the outside, slip in and out of range. Slipping in and out of range. Once you hit Ruiz, just slip out. He'll probably charge you. You can catch him again. Turn an angle. Change position. Turn an angle. If an American boxer sticks and moves and wins, he's a genius. If a non-American boxer does the same, he's labeled as a runner. Very well said. True school sports. Can't hop on right now, champ, but dropping a like and listening. Keep it up, champ. Thank you very much. That's true school sports. Yeah. Should be doing a little project with True Schools, hopefully in the next few days. He's in the UK, so see how that goes. Adam James said, who's the kid? Who's the kid? He's the descendant of Billy the Kid, long descendant of Billy the Kid from the Wild Wild West. He's over there in the US of A. While there's 2 fights in 2020, should be Dillian and Joshua. Simple. That would be nice. That would be the additional fights. The first one, of course, as we know, is Fury. And it looks like they've got, well, I already did a video. People are acting like it's new news. People are acting like it's new news. Check my videos. I think I dropped that video like a month ago, 2 months ago, where Bob Arum said there's going to be a 2-fight deal. After the first fight, it's a 2-fight deal. People are acting like it's new. Getting uploads daily now. I did that like 6 weeks ago.
Rafi, everyone seems pretty confident that if Deontay wins, there won't be a rematch.
Yeah, I think if either guy wins.
I've heard both versions.
Yeah.
I've heard there's a 2-way rematch clause.
Yeah.
And I've heard there's a 1-way rematch clause just for Deontay.
Well, yeah, that's you see, it's all possible. It's as a mandatory, you don't have to do a rematch. Allegedly,
the thing is, if you've already signed the contract and then Mauricio makes it the mandatory, then the purse split isn't the mandatory split. The other terms aren't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it wouldn't. So yeah, the mandatory probably would not apply. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's normally the case. That's the reason that Dillian gave for turning down the AJ fight at Wembley.
Yeah.
That he was unhappy with the terms of the rematch. So he'd rather wait till he was mandatory and then there wouldn't be a rematch.
Yeah. I hear that. Okay. So AJ has to make changes in order to win. He did so. Yes. Oh dear. Josh didn't make a statement in Ruiz 2. He just proved he can jab and shuffle for Tanaris Robinson. The link is in the chat. If you want to jump in, bro, and share your point of view. Share your point of view, then please do so. It'd be nice to have you live, share your position. Okay. I was impressed with AJ. He fought the perfect fight for the opponent he had in front of him. Yeah, some people are saying they found it a boring fight. I must say I did not. On first viewing, however, on the second viewing, I can understand some people saying that. But if you were a fan of either, that was an interesting fight. Just watching it, how it unfolded. Just watching how it unfolded. You know, it was more interesting as a fan. It was more interesting as a fan than someone who, you know, didn't have a position on it. But I think most people perhaps would have had a position on it. John, you want to say something?
Well, I definitely think it was much more entertaining than the Parker fight.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, if nothing else, AJ has improved his back foot game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So he's a more rounded fighter. And if people don't enjoy that style, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not like it was a close decision. And the only other person who has beaten Andy Ruiz was Parker, who did it on the back foot. And he did it a lot worse than AJ did.
Yeah.
And some can even argue that Andy won that fight, but I'm gonna jump off. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna see. I know there's a UFC 247 press conference.
Yeah.
Right now, and I don't want to ruin the stream by not really interacting in the panel.
That's no problem.
Actually, I'll just watch the highlights for the press conference. This is more fun anyway right now, so just took my nap.
Yeah, you sure? I'm not.
Yeah.
You sure that's what you sure that's what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, and plus Dominic Rice and John Jones. I'll just watch the highlights of the press conference.
Oh,
and I have to do a breakdown. What?
You might miss some fireworks. It could be a very exciting press conference.
Yeah, I know, but they're gonna release the highlights, and I could watch the full thing anyway.
Okay. So, where are we? Dinosaurus. AJ did make a statement. He showed that he's a multi-dimensional fighter who can adjust to opponents with different styles. Dillian Ruiz putting mileage on his body before that's what I'm saying. She's busy. I'm totally agree with you. I mean, I say just get the Dillian Whyte, get the Deontay Wilder fight. Don't mess around no more longer than you have to. Get the Dillian Whyte. Got 100%. With she's busy on this one. Dillian Ruiz putting mileage on his body before the Wilder. Yeah, just go for it. You want to say something, John?
I just don't think Dillian's got any power in the situation. But I know for a fact that if it was up to Dillian, he'd just sign to fight him now.
Yeah. I think we're talking about the order of the fights. A lot of people say Dillian can wait till 2020. I'm saying get it as soon as possible. Get the fight as soon as possible.
I agree with that. I just think it's going to be 2021 because he hasn't got any control. I mean, I've seen Dillian say about 3 times he's going to find Deontay in the bar and just punch him up and run off with him. He said that's the only way he's going to get his hands on him. If it's a street fight, my money's on Dillian all day long.
All day long. Fury might beat Wilder in the rematch. Will he beat Wilder in the rematch? Fury? I don't think so. I think Deontay Wilder loves a rematch. I think Deontay Wilder, Shizbiz loves a rematch. And I think Deontay Wilder is just so confident in those rematch situations. He's so confident in those rematch situations. Not that Tyson Fury isn't. But I think Deontay, I think he'd come in there really, really loose. He gets very, very confident second time around. John Daly.
Well, from watching the first fight, I felt Deontay was nervous.
Oh, yeah.
And under a huge amount of pressure.
Yeah.
And he's going to be loose this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll be patient. He won't worry about trying to bang him out early.
That's what I think.
So I think it will be similar to the Luis Ortiz fight.
Yep.
The only thing is Fury's reach advantage means he is the only person who can fight Wilder on the outside and not get in range.
Mm-hmm.
But I just maybe I've been sucked into his last performances.
Who's?
Fury's.
What about them?
Well, he was terrible against Wallin as far as I'm concerned. I mean, we heard Ben Davidson describe AJ's performance against Ruiz as a poor man's Tyson Fury.
He did say that, didn't he?
But I tell you what, Fury's performance against Wallin was definitely a poor man's AJ.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So maybe he genuinely does up his game. But I personally think that Fury doesn't. I'm not sure he likes a rematch myself. He had a good one against Derek.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
But he didn't fancy it with Vlad, did he?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely
not.
I think Deontay beat himself to an extent in the last one.
Yeah.
He certainly put too much pressure on himself, looked nervous, swung wildly, and he looked pretty drained towards the end. So I don't think that will happen again.
No. Which were you talking about again?
Deontay against Fury in the last fight.
Yeah. No, I don't expect that version of Fury.
Far too much nervous energy. He missed too much. And he put too much pressure on himself. Whereas I think he'll be patient this time. He'll throw less, miss less, and have more energy throughout the fight to do better. So, and I'm just suspicious that Fury's head's not in the game anymore as well.
If they have the fight on February 22nd as is proposed, I think one man is going to lose. I don't think it's going to be a draw. I don't think we're going to get a second draw. So one man is going to lose for the first time. And when I look at it like that, I should be excited for it. Saying it like that makes me kind of excited. But in general, I would much rather see. I want to see Dillian in there. But this has got to be done. See, it was a draw. So fair is fair. They've got to sell the draw. They've got to find a winner. The only problem is if Deontay Wilder wins, it's pretty damn sure that there's going to be a rematch. And so once again, they're just dragging the whole damn thing out. They're just dragging the whole damn thing out. And
Deontay fight Fury twice next year.
I think he's going to fight Fury twice next year. And I think that's actually the best case scenario, because otherwise that just gets dragged out till 2021. How long are they going to drag the damn thing out?
There seems to be a huge amount of talk that Deontay doesn't have to rematch Fury if he wins. And the way that they've moved Andy Ruiz up the rankings, it seems like they're shaping for Ruiz to fight Deontay after Fury, which I can definitely see happening.
If Deontay Wilder wins, I don't see the rematch with Fury. I don't see a rematch. I think he does go for Ruiz, and the explanation will be, well, don't worry, Dillian Whyte is mandatory for early in 2021. But that's how I see it. But anyway, I'm not convinced that Ruiz is a good matchup for Deontay Wilder. if he comes in. If he comes in
You're not
light.
kicking me out, guys. I got cherry cola.
What did you say?
I got tequila.
Tequila.
Cherry cola.
Cherry cola. Okay, that makes more sense. That makes more sense.
Got cherry cola.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let me give it an honest review.
Yeah, just mute yourself, Justin. Mute yourself, please. Thank you. Okay.
I think Ruiz is a really bad matchup for Deontay.
Yeah, I think
Because Deontay
great
has
matchup
to
at
have
all.
a fight, has to have the fighter at range to land his full power.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing Ruiz isn't going to try and do.
But listen, from what we saw in the second fight where he had with Joshua, sorry to cut you off, but his defense isn't that great. Those jabs and then the straight that Joshua was catching him on the inside, when Deontay Wilder hits him with that straight right, night, fat boy. I guess you could dream of eating in your sleep.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. I'd like to see that happen.
Well, you're going to see it happen because when someone has 36 minutes to land a perfect right hand, we saw that. I was watching the fight live. Wilder Ortiz. I had Ortiz winning all 7 rounds, but 10 seconds into the 7th round, Wilder was perfect for a millisecond. Boom. Night. I'm sorry, Ortiz. We know you trained hard, but there you go. Wilder just sucks, but he's really good.
Okay. So, Tanaris Robinson says, everybody says Wilder. Mute yourself, Justin. Mute yourself, Justin. Tanaris Robinson says, everybody says Wilder doesn't sell. If Joshua fought Pulev or Usyk in America, those fight sales would be poor. Well, Tanaris Robinson, that's because that's America, isn't it? But this is the UK. This is the UK. You know, this is the home of boxing. This is over here. Anthony Joshua has been connecting with the common people. So the common people, the average Joe, the man on the street, the woman on the bus, the woman in the office, they all know him. They know who he is. Yeah?
Not everyone.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everyone who knows boxing knows Anthony. Everyone who knows boxing knows Anthony Joshua. And many people.
Wait, hold on.
And many people who don't know boxing knows Anthony Joshua. Justin.
Okay, so you're saying the general person in the UK knows who Anthony Joshua is, right?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, so hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
360,000 births are per day. Just imagine how many births of those are in the UK.
Yeah.
Those 2-minute-year-old babies.
You're just counting newborn babies, Justin.
The 98-year-old grandma.
Repeat what you just said. Repeat what you just said, Justin.
Newborn babies.
People, babies, children, teenagers, adults. First of all,
what about
360,000 people are born approximately a day.
Yeah.
Those 2-minute-year-old babies in the UK don't know who Anthony Joshua is. And I guarantee you, some people like that are really old in the UK, they probably don't know who he is either.
Justin, that's a kind of ridiculous statement because obviously a baby who doesn't know who anybody is other than the mother. Okay, Justin, so
still a person.
Okay, Justin, so what we're gonna do now?
That's want to know on the debates. I'm undefeated.
Justin, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna let you go and watch that UFC thing. But next time you come, just come with some more boxing. You know, I think the cherry cola's got you feeling a little bit giddy. You know, so I appreciate you coming over. If you just mention
a light plug
give your channel a plug before you go, Justin.
Fight commentaries, fight predictions, fight breakdowns. I interview MMA fighters and boxers, boxing and MMA talk. Justin Jr. 962. We just reached 200 subscribers a couple days ago, and we at 216 now. Y'all make sure you hit the like on Raphael's channel and subscribe. Peace.
Peace out to Justin. Thank you for coming over, Justin.
Just in answer to Tyrannos's comments,
Yeah.
if Wilder fought Pulev or Usyk in the UK, that wouldn't sell either.
Yeah. Well, to continue, sorry, John. I just need to continue what I was saying. To continue what I was saying before Justin came in with his interesting point. He was interesting, Justin. What I was saying was that the reason it wouldn't sell in the US is because Deontay Wilder has not connected with the American people. He's not connected. And that's why his sales are poor. If he were Anthony Joshua, and if he did what Anthony Joshua did, if he unified like Anthony Joshua multiple times, became unified champ like Anthony Joshua by unifying one after the other, then yes, then people would go to see him. But because his career has been conducted the way it has, low-hanging fruit, cherry picking, then no, that is the reason why your boy Deontay won't sell. And on that point, in comes the man like Phil Walker, live and direct, straight from big country Texas. Big country Texas,
baby.
Big country Texas. You know, let me just tell a little Texas joke. You know, there was a Texan, he came over to the UK and he was talking to a bunch of people in a pub. And he said, you know, my land is so big in big Texas that it takes me 2 days to drive around it in my car. And the old English fella turns to him and said, yeah, I used to have a car like that once. That's the joke, people. That's the joke.
So Raphael's just on mute. That's all it was.
Okay. Everybody was on mute. You didn't hear the laughter. Hey guys, when you laugh, unmute yourself. Come in, Phil Walker.
Hey, look, man. Hey, check this out. I think Usyk and Deontay Wilder would sell. I think it would sell.
Would or would not?
I think it would. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think it would absolutely sell. I mean, because, you know, people like Usyk, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, on the contrary, people like Deontay Wilder as well. Even in you guys' country, you know, he's still an exciting fighter.
Yeah.
And the element of fighting somebody like Usyk would probably entice people enough to want to get up and go see the fight. Now, I'm not saying he's going to put up, you know, Anthony Joshua number 60, 70,000 people, but I think a significant amount of people will come out and support that fight, even out that way. Now, Pulev, nah, I don't think so. Not at all. I agree with you. I don't think they would come out and support that fight.
To be honest, I think the only reason why AJ is going to do well if they do Pulev next is just because it's going to be a homecoming fight.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a fight that people want to see AJ fight Pulev. I think they just want to show some support for AJ because he's just gone and got his belts back.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, perfect timing to fight Pulev because it's probably the best time for AJ to get away with a not very popular opponent.
Yeah. It's a good time. Carry on, Phil.
I was absolutely. If any time is better than now. right? For a particular opponent like Pulev. For one, you know, AJ's on top of the world, of course, right? He's got his belts back. He gets a chance to come back home and give back, you know, to the people that have supported him for such a long time. And let's be honest, he is going to destroy Pulev. So at the end of the day, that's going to even be more, you know, exciting fight coming off the Andy Ruiz fight, because he's going to, what I consider to be building extreme momentum going into whoever he decides to fight next. You know, whether it's Usyk or Wilder or anybody he decides to fight next, he's going to have an extreme amount of momentum in his favor coming off Andy Ruiz win, and I'm thinking probably a mid-round knockout against Pulev for the homecoming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, Phil.
Yeah.
And I think that's why Hearn's going to make that fight as well. It's a very winnable fight. It fulfills a mandatory. It's a homecoming fight that Hearn knows he'll make money on. So it's just a no-brainer. Whereas Usyk's probably a more tricky fight. So out of the two mandatories, it's just the obvious choice as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so let's go into a topic. The next topic. How long have we been on? Been on long. 1.5 hours long for a short thing. We've covered Tyson Fury. We covered what? Tyson Fury should decline the mandatory question. Let's scrub that off. Anthony Joshua. Oh, Phil Walker. Did Anthony Joshua run? We've already covered it, but you weren't here. Did Anthony Joshua run?
What, in the Ruiz fight?
Yeah.
Oh, man, come on, man. Hell no. It's not running. I mean, you know, like I explained, I don't know, I'm on somebody else's channel.
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, this is a combat sport, right? But the sport is not UFC. It's not any of those other mixed martial arts. It's boxing. So when you get in there, you have the option to box. That's what Anthony Joshua, he took that option and he did it well. I don't understand. Like, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, hit, don't get hit has always been a recipe for success. When you absolutely do it against the right opponent, I mean, why would you go with any other option if that's your best option? So, you know, I just think that's just people looking for a reason to have something to talk about or hate. You know, nah, man. He came in with a good game plan and he boxed well. And I think 10 out of 10 times if he comes in with that same game plan, he beats Andy Ruiz. So yeah, I wouldn't. No, he did not run.
He did not run. That's hater talk. The running talk is hater talk. Ringside Reporter. How you doing, babe? Joshua Ruiz, #1, sold out Madison Square Garden. I think that's something like 18,000 people. Something in that ballpark figure. I think we're more likely to see better fights now that Joshua has beat Ruiz. There is the chance to see AJ versus Fury and AJ versus Wilder. I'm not buying. No one knows who Joshua is over here. If that was true, then he wouldn't have sold out Madison Square Garden. I hear you. Obviously, some of those people were Brits who traveled, but still, plenty of Americans in attendance, no doubt. The UK is the size of Texas, one state in a 52-state country. If Wilder fought in the UK, he would sell out just like Joshua. That don't make no sense. You're saying that the United States is roughly 52 times bigger than the UK, but he can't sell out but you're saying he's not selling out in the US, but he would sell out if the US was 52 times smaller. That makes no mathematical sense whatsoever.
Also, we had a British undisputed champion called Lennox Lewis who couldn't sell anything in the UK.
There you go.
So it's just a silly statement.
Yeah.
AJ's popularity is based on how marketable he is.
Mm-hmm.
Starting with the Olympic gold medal,
Yeah.
and moving on from there.
Yeah.
And also, you got to give a lot of credit to Eddie Hearn, because whatever else you might think about him, he knows how to promote a fighter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think the better argument would be if Hearn promoted Wilder from the get-go, maybe Wilder would be that popular in the US.
Yes.
Hearn said it loads of times. Hearn said Wilder's a good talker, he's a good-looking guy, he's
Yep.
a knockout artist. He
Yep.
should be popular, and his team has done a terrible job.
Yes. Phil Walker. BBC have done a terrible job with Deontay Wilder.
No, look, I tell you this right here, and I give Eddie Hearn some credit with Anthony Joshua, but you know, I also will say Anthony Joshua kind of came up in a real good spot. I mean, honestly, it was the perfect storm, you know, and Eddie Hearn saw an opportunity, and you know, of course, having experience that he did, he maximized that opportunity.
How was it a perfect storm?
You know, AJ with the Olympics, the whole debacle with the Tyson Fury and Klitschko deal. You know, I just think, you know, with all those things coming together, he saw an opportunity and he capitalized on it.
Let me put it to you. Let me put it to you, Phil Walker. Let me put it to you that that AJ and Matchroom created a perfect storm.
Well, I mean, they couldn't have anticipated that Tyson Fury was going to do, you know, cocaine and retire. And
well,
you know, Tyson Fury,
he wasn't really that big news. He wasn't big news when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko. It might surprise you, but over here it was just like what? Disbelief at first, and then okay, well, let's see how the rematch goes. That was it.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know, during that particular time, I agree with you. It wasn't extreme news. What I'm saying was, it was kind of a dead moment in between that little pause right there. I mean, because let's just be honest about it. The heavyweight division, you know, I've always watched the heavyweights, but heavyweight division hasn't been this exciting in quite some time. So even when Tyson Fury beat Klitschko, like you just mentioned, it wasn't a bunch of excitement around that. But what I think, and when I say this, I'm saying Eddie Hearn realized that Anthony Joshua could be a star, and he noticed that it was a dead section in the heavyweight division, and then that's when his experience kicked in, and he started to he had already started building Anthony Joshua, but pretty much at the Charles Martin opportunity, that's when stuff really took off for AJ. That's when people here started to realize who he was, because of course Martin is from the States. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah. Well,
no, I'm not. I think a lot of factors played into Joshua's success and him becoming the star that, you know, he is and he became.
Can I just come back to you on that? Because obviously you got a US perspective, which is fair enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree with part of what you're saying. If Tyson Fury hadn't tested positive for nandrolone and had to not rematch Klitschko, which is actually what really happened, AJ's definitely benefited from that circumstance. But prior to that, he was on pay-per-view against Dillian Whyte and sold out the O2. So AJ was a massive phenomenon in the UK before Tyson fought Vlad. So his popularity in the UK, it was always ahead of Tyson Fury. And I think it would have continued to grow anyway. but he just wouldn't have got a world title at 16 fights. Which
That's
to be
the part. That's the
yeah,
part.
yeah. That's what made him news in the States. But I think here he would have carried on doing pay-per-views. And
Yeah, I mean, he was an Olympic star.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like with the Olympics,
but also not only was he Olympic gold medalist, AJ is very popular with the ladies, and in the UK, the clean-cut image that he portrays makes you popular across the board. It's part of why Frank Bruno was so popular, even though he didn't really have a lot of success. And it's something that I don't think you get in the States. You don't get fighters who are popular like that. Frank Bruno was relatively unsuccessful as a heavyweight at the top of the division, but he was tremendously popular in the UK in a way that it's very difficult for people to understand who didn't live through it. I did. Frank Bruno's fight against Tim Witherspoon's the first actual live boxing match I ever watched. And he was just huge, and it wasn't really based on ability. So the UK, it's not all about belts and title fights. It's also about portraying the right type of persona. And on top of that, AJ's got all the ladies as well. So that's got a large part of his appeal. It isn't just success. But I don't think you'll get that in the States because you're just not here. So it's not because you're wrong, but it's something that you won't experience. Like, I don't know if you have Lynx in the States, but it's one of the biggest selling deodorants in the UK. AJ's got his own brand of Lynx, and throughout the pay-per-view, the only advert on there was AJ advertising his Lynx. Lucozade a massive sports drink here. AJ's the face of Lucozade, and only huge sports stars managed to maintain that. They've tried it with a few other people, but when I was a kid, it was Daley Thompson who was massive here.
Yeah.
Then Linford got it. And then really they haven't had anyone maintain the face of Lucozade up until AJ.
Yeah.
So if you walk around the UK, AJ's face is everywhere.
Yeah. So you talk.
Yeah.
So let's talk from Taurus, Tanaris. Tanaris Robinson. There's talk that boxing is not that big in the States, but I think it was Marla that countered that by saying it was huge in the States. It was huge in the States, but something went wrong over there. The marketing went wrong. Something went wrong over in the States. You had the same amount of sports over in the States as you had in boxing's heyday, or even not the heyday when it was bigger back in the 80s. Back in the time of Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson, it was still huge over there, but something happened over in the States and boxing fell off. And
I can give you insight on that when you get done.
Yeah. Do that.
Oh, I was gonna let you keep going at it, and
boxing wasn't marketed over there from an outsider. I'm not American, but what it seems to me from the outside is that boxing wasn't marketed over there as well as it could have been. And you had a champion. Obviously, the Klitschko era may have had something to do with that. But then when you got a guy in Deontay Wilder that you could have potentially, or PBC could have potentially marketed much better than they did. You had an opportunity. They had an opportunity to do the same thing that Matchroom Eddie Hearn did with Joshua. You had an opportunity to do something very similar over there. Of course, the personalities are different. All this bomb squad screaming, that doesn't appeal. That wouldn't appeal to Middle America. Certain characteristics that wouldn't appeal to Middle America. So it is possible that you could have never marketed him as well as Joshua was marketed over here because the personalities are different. But even so, there's a feeling that PBC could have done a much better job. But the counteraction to that is that they didn't believe in Deontay to rush him the way Matchroom rushed Joshua. Phil Walker.
Yeah, so I do think you have a point with and you know, I think this is not so much just with Deontay Wilder. I think that in the U.S. you get a lot of fighters that have, you know, great ability and can be very, very successful within the sport, but they kind of not necessarily string them along, but they take their time in creating these stars. And I think Deontay Wilder was one of those individuals. Of course, you know, and I keep saying this right here. The worst thing I feel as though Joshua and Matchroom could have did was allow Deontay Wilder to keep learning on the job, because, you know, I don't know way you guys feel, but I feel as though Deontay Wilder is actually getting better with each fight. Okay, yeah. He shows me a little something different, and I think, you know, it's probably one of the worst mistakes they could have made, because if they would have fought, you know, Wilder several years ago, I think I would have absolutely given AJ the edge then, but now not so much. But
I think it's the other way around. But carry on. I think it's the other way around, because AJ was relatively fresh, was relatively green, and still is relatively. So I think his growth has accelerated more than Deontay's. But I cut you off. Carry on.
Yeah. I mean, you know, so and I'll come into that in a second. But as far as, I don't think PBC has done a bad job with Deontay Wilder. Again, you know, to compare a U.S. fighter to a U.K. fighter as far as the marketability is two totally different animals. I mean, Eddie Hearn has come out himself and said, hey, you know, Matchroom, the Zone USA is different here. It's a lot different here. I will admit, you know, I had all these grand plans, but it's going to take a little tweaking. It's going to take a little time for me to get my swag going. You know, he didn't say swag, but he said, you know, to get it how I know I can do it, right? So it is a different animal. I don't think a bad job with Wilder. You know, PBC also they hadn't been doing this for a long time, but they've been in the entertainment industry for quite some time. And again, they've had to learn on the fly as well, because, you know, Al Heyman and PBC, Al Heyman himself personally, you know, wasn't always in the box. So I think he, you know, and that's why he has people around him that knows the sport. Okay. So to comment on the situation as far as you think Anthony Joshua has accelerated in a lot faster fashion than Deontay Wilder. Well, in a sense, you got a point, because of course he has less fights than Deontay Wilder. Okay, right? He has less fights than Deontay Wilder, and right now at the moment he's considered to be one of the best fighters in the world. Now, with that being said, I will say this right here. To me personally, AJ got to a point to where when he beat Vladimir Klitschko, okay, I said, okay, this guy's the real deal. But then I thought he regressed after that win. He didn't live up to my expectation, my personal expectation. And just here recently against Andy Ruiz, he's added a different aspect to his ability. Now I get that fuzzy feeling again when I watch him fight. You understand what I'm saying? When I didn't with the fight after Vladimir. Okay. So yeah, I mean, if you go by fight basis and you say, hey, Anthony Joshua is has accelerated in his abilities faster than Deontay, okay. I mean, it's kind of hard to argue with that because he has less fights. But I'm speaking specifically about Deontay Wilder.
Can I come in on that point, Phil?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying. I feel like Wilder has improved quite a bit over his last couple of fights. So I'm quite happy to agree with that. What I would say is I think Wilder's at his absolute peak. And if he doesn't fight Joshua next year, I'm not sure how much longer he'll be able to maintain it. Would he be 34 next year?
35 next year.
So if he doesn't fight Joshua till 2021, I think there's a good chance that Deontay's actually going to start to decline. I think he's peaking now. What do you think, Phil?
Well, I'm just going to come in before. I'm going to come in before, and then you, Phil.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. something which is very much overlooked is Wilder's age. But age is a factor. Age catches up with everyone at some point. And I don't understand why Deontay Wilder would not jump at the chance, would not be thinking about his prime years. How long has he got left in his prime years? We know Deontay Wilder is injury prone. And, it catches up with everybody. Why the delay? Should there not be some concern about catching these guys before you come out of your prime? Because the other guys, his competitors, 4 years younger than he, Phil Walker.
Well, I mean, look, we everybody on this panel right now follow boxing pretty closely, right? So let me say this. Deontay Wilder's main asset, as him being a professional fighter, of course, is his patience and his power. Those are the two things that I believe that history has shown that is one of the last things to leave a boxer as far as when you're at the end of your career. Your power is the last thing to leave. Now, your legs lead is one of the first things to leave as far as being a older fighter. Yeah. But your power, your patience, that stuff is going to be with you until it's not. You understand what I'm saying? It's going to be the last thing to leave. And I think just as far as Deontay Wilder goes, I mean, that's the two things that his whole game plan is basically, around. Because let's be honest. Let's be honest. A lot of guys can go out there and box Deontay Wilder. Let's just be real about it. I'm not delusional. Okay, a lot of guys can go out there and box Deontay Wilder, but as these guys are going out there and boxing him, Deontay Wilder is absolutely taking data and looking at things that these guys are doing. That's the patience aspect of it. And then he finds the moment, and then that's when he lands his shot and he finishes the fight. The only issue I'm having with that is that if you go up against a guy like a Tyson Fury, okay, that can box and you can't finish him, you get a fight where it's a draw, or you get a fight that you might possibly lose. You understand what I'm saying? That's my only issue with that. That game plan to me is a bit flawed if a guy can actually stay away from Deontay Wilder's right hand.
So okay. is there not a optimal time for Deontay? Should Deontay Wilder at 34 coming on 35, should he not be looking to make those fights? Because surely he ain't got long left.
I mean, and that's why I have to disagree with you, because again, the power and the patience is going to be the last thing to leave. But I definitely think it should be a sense of urgency, because I mean, stuff happens, man. Stuff happens, but I think it should be a sense of urgency, because again,
I agree.
It happens, but not because of I think his skills would diminish. I mean, his whole skills are, like I said, predicated on the fact that he needs to be patient and play in the right hand.
Well, I think there's something else that you're overlooking there, Phil. That game plan is predicated on somebody trying to outbox Wilder for 12 rounds. I don't know if you know Stacey McKinley, but he's Trevor Bryan's trainer. He's put quite a few things out. I think he's actually on Rafi's friend's channel, True School Sports, in an interview with True School Sports.
Yeah, he does interviews with him. Yeah.
Stacey McKinley put out there that the best way to beat Deontay Wilder is get inside his reach and put it on him. Now, I'm suspicious that Deontay Wilder doesn't have a good chin, and that's the first thing that normally goes on a fighter is the chin. So I think you're right in that his power will last towards the end of his career, but he also has tremendous gas tank. If he starts to blow towards the end of the rounds. Like he gets a lot of his knockouts towards the end, in the later rounds. So that's clear indication he's got a good gas tank. Saying that he's only got to be perfect for one punch and everybody else has got to be perfect for 12 rounds is assuming that he's not fighting a puncher who could potentially knock him out. And that's the issue that I've got with that whole idea. And I do think Deontay's improved. So, Phil's dropped off. That must have bored him into
something you said, John.
bored him into submission, Rafi.
I'll be back, says Phil. I'll be back. What's happened to John Daly? Oh, it seemed like he dropped off there a second. I don't know.
I was just waiting to see what you were going to say.
Oh, okay. No, okay, yeah, right. So, Philip Carl Roberts says, thing is, I agree that patience and power are the last things to leave a boxer. However, to utilize those skills, it does require speed, and speed can go early in some boxers' career.
I think that's a really good point because
it's a very good point.
I don't actually think Wilder's a naturally heavy-handed guy. Let me just explain that. He only generates power with his right hand.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he generates power through technique.
Yeah.
If you compare that to someone like George Foreman, who didn't have the best punch technique, but hit like a mule with both hands, I think that's the type of power that lasts. If your power is based on speed and technique, I think it can fade. Look at Kovalev. I think Kovalev generates his power in the same way that Deontay does.
Yeah.
They're both long-limbed for the weight, so that gives them extra leverage. They execute that right hand very well. So that's where the skill element comes from. And Deontay, whatever else he is, he's fast. And speed obviously impacts on the power as well. So
like Marla says, and like Philip Carl Roberts said also, it is not just enough for Wilder to have power. He needs punch accuracy and speed. And the accuracy and speed will go before his power. Well, if he needs them for power, then when the accuracy and speed goes, then, the power is going to take a hit. The power is going to take a hit. Age has no mercy on the greatest of athletes. Indeed, age has no mercy. SSB28, what up? Yes, we're doing an impromptu Friday thing. We're not here for a long time. We're here for a good time. Lennox Lewis was a very good late in his career. He used his experience. That is true, but he finished what? Where did he finish when he's 38? When did Lennox Lewis retire? Did Lennox Lewis retire when he was 38?
I think that's right, Rafi. I'll check that.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere in the region of 38 when Lennox Lewis retired. Deontay Wilder is running out of time. Age has no mercy. And it catches up with you. You can hit the cliff's edge in the blinking of an eye. Tanaris Robinson. Wilder has a great chin. Also, Wilder wasn't patient in Fury 1, which he will be in Fury 2. Okay, Wilder has a great chin. I don't know. We don't know that. Do we know that? Phil Walker, do we know that Wilder has a great chin? Although John Dealey's got some updates. John Dealey has updated news.
No, I haven't got updated news. It's just
okay.
I never resist that statement when anyone says we know that Deontay Wilder has a great chin.
Yeah, no, I mean...
Who's Ortiz knocked out again?
Who has Ortiz knocked out? Who did he knock out?
It's like Ortiz.
Jennings, his best knockout, best win.
Taking punches off Ortiz isn't enough to me to prove that Wilder has a great chin. No, I haven't got any proof he's got a bad chin other than Harold Skonia's and Romanov knocking him out at heavyweight, not super heavyweight in the amateurs with big fat gloves on and head guards. But I definitely don't think there's any proof out there to say he's got a great chin.
No, I haven't seen the evidence of Wilder having a great chin. Phil Walker, does Wilder have a great chin? And if so, could you provide some evidence?
Well, I'm not going to say Wilder has a great chin, but I do think Wilder does have a good chin, though. I mean, look, and this is the tricky thing about the heavyweight division, okay? You know, whether you have a good chin or not, any one of these guys on any given night can put you down, okay? So, with that being said, does Wilder have a great chin? I don't know if it's great, but I do think he does have a good chin. Absolutely.
The basis for that belief is what?
The basis of that belief is, for one, he's been in there with 40-something other heavyweights. Nobody could put him down.
Who was the best? Who's the best heavyweight he's been in with?
Harold Scoonia's put him down.
Say what?
Harold Scoonia's put him down.
No, the best heavyweight he's been in with is, outside of Tyson Fury, that's actually hit him with a flush punch, is Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, and see, the problem is Luis Ortiz, you know, his best win was Bryant Jennings. That was his best win.
But yeah, I mean, look, just because his best win, this is the deal right here.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it doesn't matter if it's his best win or not. My point is this right here. Luis Ortiz is a pretty stout puncher. Nobody's going to get in there and say Luis Ortiz is not hitting hard. I mean, Luis Ortiz he has several knockouts. He has also TKOs, just like Joshua does. I mean, he's a heavy-handed heavyweight. It's not like he's getting in there with somebody like Brian Jennings, who's not known to be a heavy-handed heavyweight. You know, so at the end of the day, Luis Ortiz is considered to be a heavy puncher, and Deontay Wilder took one flush from him and was able to withstand it. I mean, outside of that, nobody stopped Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't think that the fact that nobody stopped him, you know, you have to look at the caliber of opponent. And when you look at the caliber of opponent for both Ortiz and Wilder, you really have to say, well, who is the young heavy hitter that either of them have faced? Who is the young top caliber heavy hitter that either of them have faced? And it's just not there, man. It's just not there. John Dealey.
Well, Lennox was 38. Or he was 38 in the year he retired anyway.
Okay. I thought so. Then my point is that time is running out.
He also looked like time was catching up with him against Vitali.
Yes. Although his counter argument is that he was training for someone else. He started the camp late. He was training for someone else.
I'm not suggesting that Vitali would have won that fight.
I'm not suggesting that you are. Yeah.
But my biggest thing is, if time wasn't catching up with Lennox, why didn't he do the rematch?
Yeah.
Lennox knew it was time to get out, which is fair enough. Got no problem with that at all.
100%. Lennox says that there was, I can't remember what his reason was. Was it a short camp or? It was a short
notice change of opponent, wasn't it?
Was it a short camp or was it a short camp and a short notice change of opponent? Because I know it was a short notice change of opponent. I know that, but I'm wondering if it was a short camp as well. I don't want to say it was, but I think that's what I heard.
I have with Lennox talking about this.
What fight are you guys? What fight are you guys talking about?
We're talking about Lennox Lewis versus Vitali. We're talking about boxers coming to the end. We're talking about boxers coming to the end of their careers, and Lennox Lewis did he feel that time was catching up with him? And I suspect he did, even though it was a short notice change of opponent, even though it may have been a shorter training camp than normal for Lennox. I think even with those things in situ, in place, I do feel that he knew that it was a good time he was past his peak. He was always getting past his peak.
Lennox came out and said himself, we all know that it was a short change it was a short change in opponents as well. His camp was short, but Lennox came out and said himself, he said, hey, look, at that point in my career, I didn't think that getting hit in the face was worth it anymore. He lost his passion.
Yeah.
And the best decision for a fighter to make, and probably one of the hardest decisions for a fighter to make, is to walk away from something that you truly love, that you've done your whole life. And I think Lennox was absolutely right about the decision that he made. I'm happy that he did that.
Yeah, indeed. Wilder is a 30 to 60. Wilder is 30 to 60 pounds lighter than everyone he fights. He has to have a great chin based on that alone. Sorry, Tanaris. I have to beg to differ. The caliber of your opponent is key in this. Are you fighting young, high-rated bangers, heavy hitters, the likes of Anthony Joshua, the likes of Dillian Whyte, and in the case of
Ortiz.
Well, no. In the case I said young, and in the case of both Wilder and Ortiz, I find that they are not fighting young, top-rated heavy hitters. Phil Walker.
Well, look, man. At the end of the day, again, we can go back and we can talk about this rest of the deal. But if you want to say that AJ's been in there probably with heavier hitters, I mean, I don't want to. It's hard for me to debate that. But what I can say is this, right?
Dillian Whyte.
Klitschko's got a more proven right hand than Wilder. Wilder might hit harder than Klitschko. Hold on a minute. Who's got more knockouts?
No, man. Come on.
Who has more knockouts?
Come on, man.
Who has more knockouts?
So that's all right. So look, and let me tell you what I do not like about this particular debate. All right, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's like saying Andy Ruiz has a less proven right hand than Klitschko, right? Which I would say he does. But at the end of the day, Andy Ruiz stopped Joshua in severe, embarrassing fashion. So it's kind of one of those debates that's going to keep going in circles.
Neither guy had fought Andy Ruiz.
Really a better right hand than any of Wilder's opponents, though, isn't it?
You saying that Vlad does have a better right hand?
I'm saying Vlad has a better right hand than any boxer that Deontay Wilder has faced in a boxing ring.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that.
Okay. I'm happy to say that there's no way you can prove who hits harder out of Vlad, Ruiz, Wilder, any of those people. You can't prove it, even when they have the same opponents, because there's more to it than that. But to suggest that Vlad doesn't have a devastating right hand would be unrealistic.
Yeah, but I mean, who did that though? Who said that Vlad doesn't have
No, I haven't said that. So what we're saying is that AJ has fought more heavy-handed opponents than Wilder. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, like I said, I wouldn't
Ortiz.
disagree with that.
Wilder and Ortiz.
I wouldn't disagree with that. But what I'm telling you is this right here. These are all heavyweights, okay? And just to say that Deontay Wilder, I mean, because this is the comment you made. You said it has a more devastating right hand.
No,
you said Vladimir Klitschko has a more devastating right hand than Deontay Wilder.
I didn't say has a more devastating right hand than Wilder. I said a more proven
okay.
right Wilder. So
well, yeah, I mean,
more knockouts against top 10 opponents than Wilder has. Now, it may turn out that Wilder hits harder than Vlad. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah, because there's no way to prove that, but what we can prove is this right here. Deontay Wilder has what, 42 fights and what, 41 KOs?
Wilder can't knock you out. That's not what I'm saying, and I agree with your main point that chin isn't the best thing for a heavyweight to rely on, because that's the whole reason why heavyweight boxing has been popular above all the other weight classes, because everyone can get the else out.
Yeah.
So I think we generally agree. And as for whether Wilder hits harder than Vlad or Vlad hits harder than Wilder, it doesn't really matter because they can both knock you out, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so that concludes our talk on the caliber of opponents for Wilder. We were talking about why Wilder isn't Tanaris kind of brought it up. Tanaris kind of brought it up that that Joshua was operating in a market, in a smaller market, but yet he would be an attraction fighting against the likes of Pulev and Usyk. But yeah, he said that those fights wouldn't sell for Wilder in the US of A, even though it's a much bigger market. But then he went on to say that if Wilder was British, he would have the same amount of support as Joshua. And my counter to that was no. Joshua came up under particular circumstances. He got a gold medal. He won a gold medal. The Olympics were taking place in the UK that year. So he was being watched by people coming up and getting the gold. So he had a great launch pad. However, it was him that was going into the gym. It was him that was hitting the road. It was him that was punching the bag. It was him that was punching and getting punched in sparring. So nothing was handed to him. He earned that launch pad. And you can't just say that any guy, you could have put in his shoes and have the same outcome. No, because you got personality as well. His particular personality is the way you come over. It's the way you come over. It's the appearance. It's the personality. It's the hard work. It's the hard work. He got there through hard work. We saw the difference in between someone who works hard and someone who doesn't last Saturday. Seems longer, but it was only last Saturday we saw the difference in somebody who works hard and somebody who doesn't. Hard work pays off. Hard work pays off. You know? So you can't just plant the next man in there and think that you'd have the exact same outcome. Different people, different personalities, different colored belts, medals, all kinds of factors come into play. Management comes into play, promotion comes into play, a lot of factors. But the bottom line, the thing that made Anthony Joshua really pop was the fact that they didn't baby him. They didn't baby him. He didn't wait till his 31st fight to get a title shot. He did that in half the time. He did it in 16. And he's been on that accelerated pace from the get-go. From his 16th fight, boom, he was in there with the champion. So it's marketing. It's how much your people, the people believe in their product. The managers, the promoters believe in their product. One guy that believed in him so much that he got a title fight 16 fights deep or 16 fights in. The other guy was at 31, 32, 33. I think he was 31. Big difference. Big difference. A lot of variables, a lot of factors. Okay. Well, we chopped up and we've covered that whole Ruiz, Joshua, and Wilder thing. We also covered the Fury and the Dillian Whyte thing. That's 5 top heavyweights we've covered. Pulev, we know he's coming in. He's most likely next for Joshua, the IBF guy. The WBO, that's Usyk. They might hold out. They might chill. We've covered all of that. But we can't go without talking about... We cannot go without talking about the Teofimo Lopez versus Comey fight. Phil Walker
Well, man, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Again, so right now, that's a really good fight that a lot of people aren't talking about. And I'm glad you're covering it tonight. Let me say this right here. Lopez to me is one of those fighters that, again, you can have people that believe in you, you can believe in yourself, but at the end of the day, experience does play a part in this sport. I mean, a drastic difference in experience. So, with that being said, let me say this right here. I think Lopez will get to the point to where he will reach his peak, but right now, I think it may be a little too early for him. That's just my opinion. Now, do I think he can come in with a great game plan and execute it and beat Comey? Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm not doubting the young guy. I'm glad that he's taking these risks so early in his career, because when you take these risks early in your career, when you in the middle part of your career and late in your career, you can take a loss and you can bounce back during that particular time, right? So a loss isn't the death of a strong-willed fighter, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that he is taking that risk and he believes in himself at such an early tenure in his career.
Yeah.
But with that being said, I think experience to me would be the biggest factor in this particular fight, because these are two guys that, you know, both are very, very talented fighters. But Lopez to me showed some immaturity in his last fight. He didn't know how to adapt. He didn't know how to adjust. He got very frustrated. And those are all things that a young fighter that's looking to excite the fans, you know, that's all things that they do. You have to get to a point in your career to where you don't care about how you win. You just want to win. Okay. And to me, that'll probably be one of the major factors in this fight. He's going to have to do a lot of maturing, and I'm not saying that he can't do it. I don't want to doubt the guy, because I do think he is a bright spot in his division. But right now, he's been asking for a fight like this, somebody to step up to really showcase his talent against. And at the end of the day, we are going to see what he's made of or what he's not made of. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited about it.
Yes, indeed. We've had Marlis checked. Indeed, Lennox was in his 38th year, as John Dealey said. But interestingly, he was 3 months short of his 38th birthday, which means that Lennox Lewis was actually 37, which only speaks to my point about Deontay Wilder now being 34. Time is running out. I'm not regressing, but that just strengthened my point. He was in his 38th year, but was actually still 37. Time is of the essence. People are playing around. Time waits for no man.
Let me make you laugh real quick, Ralphie. I knew Lennox was 37 when he retired. But I knew that would basically kind of feed.
It would strengthen my point.
So hey, look,
you're a clever man, Phil.
I opted out to just say 30 days. Let me roll with this.
Yo, we got people on the case.
You say he was 38. I said he was in his 38th
year. We've got people on the case, my friend. The truth was always going to come out. The truth is always going to come out. Strength is my point.
Phil, I like your style.
Yeah.
Best way to play it.
It's classy. It's a classy move. I like it. He didn't lie. He just didn't say anything. Okay, John Dealey, do you want to talk about the Filio versus Comey fight?
I like the fact that Teofimo is taking the challenge. It's a real challenge. I'm a bit on the fence with it.
Yeah.
I think Comey. I think they could both knock each other out.
Yeah,
I think it's actually a really exciting fight.
Yeah.
I've got no dog in the fight. I actually don't care who wins.
Yeah, same.
So, in some ways, that's the best way to watch what could be a really exciting fight.
I won't be watching that live. That's going to be like at 5 a.m.
I won't watch it live.
I'm not watching that live. I don't care enough to watch it live, Phil. I don't care enough. I'll catch the replay. It will be a priority to catch the replay on Sunday when I wake up, but I ain't staying up till 5 a.m. in the morning to watch it, Phil. I'm going to catch it when I wake up on Sunday.
It'll probably be the first thing I do when I wake up is watch that.
It will be the first thing I do, but I ain't staying up through the night.
It's got to be a big occasion.
It's got to be a big occasion for me to stay up these days. Before I don't
tend to stay up. I normally go to sleep and set my alarm.
Yeah. I either stay up or I catch it the next day. The alarm thing doesn't work for me. I tend to just bang it a few times and then still go to sleep. No, I did not. Okay, so me, Come Tiafimo. Yeah, it's me. Okay, Come Tiafimo. I've got Come. Oh, see Phil there. Phil must have dropped off for a second. Yeah,
internet dropped me.
No problem at all. So this is our last thing. Well, last but one. So I got Come as the favorite simply because of his deeper experience. And Tiafimo, the young up-and-comer, is he ready? Is he ready for this? I say no. I don't think he's ready. He might be ready, but I don't think he's ready for this. Not now. Not yet. I think it's come a bit soon for him. But yeah, like Phil said, give him credit for stepping up for this one. Where I'm going with Come. I am going with Come. Okay. So, and then, of course, we have to talk. That's covered. And then, of course, we have to talk about Crawford versus Cavalarios. How are you pronouncing that, Phil?
Hey, man, I'm going to let you handle that, man. We just going to call him Mean Machine.
Are you calling that, John?
1 second, Rafi.
Yeah.
Where is he Lithuanian? Where's he from?
I have no idea where this cat comes from. I thought it was a kind of Greek-sounding name to me. Kavalakos is what we're going to call him. Crawford versus Kavalakos. I believe this is a mandatory, is it not? This is a mandatory fight. I have not seen anything out of Kavalakos that gives me any reason to believe that he is going to trouble Crawford. I don't think you're finding anybody. In fact, this must be a great fight to bet on. We got Crawford, the 32-year-old, 35 and 0, 26 knockouts.
He's Lithuanian, Rafi.
He's a Lithuanian cat.
Yeah, he's been to the Olympics twice.
Yeah. Been to the Olympics twice. He's a
two-time Olympian.
He's 31.
Coming off a draw, though.
Versus Crawford, the three-division champion from Omaha, Nebraska. And he'll be making his third defense of the WBO welterweight title. He won by stopping Australia's Jeff Horn in June 2018 at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, so I don't know if there is anyone on this planet other than Kavalakos' mother who will be putting any money on him. This must be a great fight to bet on.
Hey, look, Rafi, I tell you so. I don't think his mom would even put money on it. She definitely believes in her kid, but she's not going to put any dough up on this one right here. But she believes in she spiritually is supporting her son, right?
She's with him all the way in spirit, but she ain't gonna put no money on it.
Phil's not keeping his pick close to his chest.
Okay, Phil, you lead it away. You got your American guy over there, Crawford, fighting Kavalakos. How you see that fight going, Phil?
Yeah, let me tell you something. I see it. The way I see the fight going is I think Crawford's going to come out and he's going to box him. He's going to switch it up. He's going to go lefty. He's going to go righty. I mean, he's going to go out and give the best performance he can against this guy. I don't think Crawford's the kind of fighter that takes opponents lightly, so he's going to be all business because he knows at this very moment he is losing some momentum with the opponents that he is currently going up against as far as the welterweight division is concerned. So he's going to want to come out and give a good performance. He's going to show people why he is, in my opinion, pound for pound, the number one guy in the world. And I don't see, the two-time Olympian coming out and giving Crawford any problems on Saturday night. But I think it will be an entertaining fight to the point of just liking to see Crawford do what it is that he does. With that being said, I'm more interested in seeing who's on the undercard and hoping those guys put on great performances as well on ESPN.
Okay, so we have a situation there. Before I go to John for his assessment, we have a situation there I just want to touch on. So the problem for anybody who's not in the know, the problem for Crawford is that all his top opposition are, as Errol Spence put it, on the other side of the road. They're with PBC. Crawford is with Bob Arum's Top Rank. So for those who don't know, the problem is that you have Crawford, who's with Bob Arum Top Rank, and his top opposition, the other belt holders, are with the PBC. And the PBC don't like to cross the road. They want to keep it in-house. The business model is based around them with their TV deals. They like to have a champion in each division. Of course, everybody would, but they want to keep. But when they do have a champion in that division, or they have two champions in that division, they apparently don't feel the need for those champions to fight outside of the PBC. In their ideal world, they would keep it in-house PBC. And with Crawford being on the other side of the road over there at Top Rank, he can't seem to get one of the PBC guys in the ring with him for love nor money. What's your take on that, Phil Walker?
Well, let me tell you this right here. So Crawford just extended his contract with Top Rank, from my understanding, for the next, I think, 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
So essentially, Crawford's going to retire with Top Rank. That's the way I look at it.
2025.
So yeah, he's going to retire with Top Rank. Okay, unless it comes to a situation where he's going to buy his contract out and go that whole entire route that a lot of fighters are doing these days. But based on my assessment of the division, especially the 147-pound division, I think because PBC has so much talent in that particular division, I think they absolutely 100% prefer to keep things in-house because they can actually keep it in-house and make good fights. My only issue with that is they're not always making good fights. You know what I'm saying? So you have the ability to do in-house, but at the same time, you're not doing the in-house fights that the public desires. Think about how long it took Sean Porter to fight against Earl Spence. These guys have been calling each other. Well, Earl Spence has been calling these guys out for quite some time. But I mean, at the end of the day, we still need to see Spence and Garcia. We still need to see Thurman and Spence. We still need to see, it's a lot of these guys. You got guys like Ugas, right? Who's in that stable as well. That I love to see Ugas against Spence, right? So they do have a lot of talent in the PBC in 147 pounds. But my only issue is they're taking too long to create the fights that people want to see. If you're going to take that long to create the fights people want to see, then let it be somebody like a Terrence Crawford. Okay. Don't plug in, I can't think of that guy that Earl Spence fought down there in Dallas. I can't think of his name right now.
Yeah.
But don't let it be a guy like that, right? I mean, at least give us somebody that's desirable. With that being said, I do think Terrence Crawford wants to fight these guys. I do not think he's afraid to fight these guys. I do think Earl Spence for sure wants to fight Terrence Crawford. But again, this is why it's so important to make these fights happen. Because look, Earl Spence could have easily been, God forbid, I hope he's good, and I hope he can come back just as good as when he left off. But who's to say that he's going to be the same guy when he comes back? Now you have a deteriorated Spence fighting a world-class Crawford at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, these guys need to fight one another. PBC, they say that they don't have any obligations as far as networks is concerned. ESPN is one of the biggest networks in the world. They definitely have enough money to pay these guys what those fights would generate, those mega fights would generate. I say, hey, make the fights happen. But again, you're dealing with egos as far as Bob Arum is concerned, as far as Al Heyman and PBC is concerned. And quite frankly, I think those guys are more worried about beating one another at the, ego game than they are promoting their fighters and getting the fighters the fights that they deserve and the boxing fans need.
So what's your short answer? Crawford versus the PBC guys. What's your short answer in a nutshell?
My short answer in a nutshell is that at this point in time, this is just getting ridiculous. PBC, you do have the guys to stay in-house, but you're not doing it. You need to do it. If you're going to insert baloney opponents, you need to say, screw it and insert Bud Crawford, stop playing and make the fights.
Yeah. John D. Lee.
Which one?
Whichever one you prefer.
Well, okay, so I'm hoping that Crawford knocks him out in devastating fashion, to be honest.
Yeah.
Just to try and help Crawford get a bit more momentum. As for Phil's point, it's been more than 12 months since Crawford actually re-signed, but he re-signed. So he shouldn't have re-signed the top rank. Really.
Who should he have signed to?
Well, go and dance with the devil and clean out PBC's bottom.
That's it. Because
as far as I think,
could he have signed with PBC? I mean, what does that entail?
Last year in September, his contract was due for renewal.
Yeah.
And he signed to ESPN. If he didn't re-sign, I'm sure there was a reasonable amount of time left on the contract before it actually ran out when he did re-sign. So Bob might have been difficult and not have him fight anybody.
Yeah.
Because Bob's not a gentleman, should say. But if he'd just seen his contract out, I think Terrence is the sort of person who ticks over in the gym anyway.
Yeah.
He could definitely have done what Andre Ward did and just keep himself ticking over until the contract was done. But the only other problem with all of that is I think he'd be making less money on PBC than he's on ESPN.
That's what I'm thinking.
But I mean, depends what you want to do. If he had signed, then might have started to build him ahead of Spence because I think he is the best.
Yeah.
So
John, let me ask you a question, John, and just real quick. I know you're talking about it. Do you think that and this would be an interesting point. I want to get both you guys' take on it. Do you think that because the PBC quote unquote doesn't have any obligations to any networks, do you think that Crawford could have signed with PBC and stayed a ESPN fighter. What do you think about that?
Bob would never let that happen. I think it's got more to do with Bob than it has to do with ESPN. We've seen Bob really be difficult about letting fighters go. Look at what he did to Mikey Garcia. I think if that was possible, Mikey Garcia would have done that. But Mikey Garcia had to sit. How long did he have to sit out for? 2 years.
It was
It was a while.
At least
2
year
years.
and a half, yeah.
2 years. He said out for 2 years, man. That's
So
a
if
tragedy.
that was possible, I think Mikey would have done it.
Yeah, and also, you know, I question the profitability of going over to the PBC. I really question it. It's hard to get.
Well, one thing I would say is I think Spence Crawford would sell pay-per-view all day long. I think that would do good numbers.
Yeah, I don't think there's any.
Manny Pacquiao over there, that would do good pay-per-view numbers.
Yeah, I don't think there's any disputing that those things would do good numbers, but I do question the profitability for the individual fighter. I question that. I question how infrequently a lot of their fighters fight. It doesn't seem to be they don't stay busy over there. Staying busy is not a credo over there, but yet we have
Martin's the credo over there.
That's a fact. They don't stay busy. That's a fact.
They don't stay busy over there, and it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. It's like Mike Tyson. I did the video. If anybody hasn't seen it, Mike Tyson said one of the things that Anthony Joshua needs to do is stay busy. That video is probably about 6 months old now. Keeps on getting hits because it resonates with people. You got to stay busy. Fighters of today are too inactive. Say again.
AJ's been listening to you, Rafi. He says he wants to fight 3 times this year.
That's what I'm saying.
He's on the subs.
We've been preaching. We've been preaching that over here. And it's not unlikely because when I was over at TBV, that was at the peak of when the war between the USA and the UK. It was at the peak when they got Eddie Hearn on and tried to ambush him with Shelley Finkel, and then people twisted what was said. No, he said this, she said that, and that was at the peak, and that's when I came in. So I'll be very surprised if they're unaware. I think Deontay Wilder himself is aware. You know, he said a word which resonated with me. I think it's a word that he had probably never said in his entire life. I did a piece over there at TBV when I used the word unacceptable, and people burst out laughing. Unacceptable, because they thought it was a bit very British. And then Deontay Wilder came out shortly thereafter and used the word, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. Made me laugh. He talks about the border wars. He knows what's going on over there. Joshua knows what's going on over there. And Eddie Hearn certainly knows what's going on over there. So it wouldn't surprise me if Eddie and Joshua, two-time, are familiar with the show. It would not surprise me one tiny bit. PBC are too inactive. I don't like it. If I was a promoter, if I was a manager, I would be reluctant to take my guy over there. Also, it's a bit culty. It's a bit secretive. It's a secretive group. I'm not down with that one tiny bit. I would try. I don't know what Crawford could have done different. He could have signed.
Sorry. To add to what you just said, that they're less popular fighters are very active. I think the more popular fighters are less active because they demand such high paydays, but it's a detriment to their career. So it's like either pick the lesser paydays and be more active, or you see what I'm saying? It's either pick.
It's just messy. It's just messy. I would just rather you just operate within the market, just fight and get paid what you do. But because they have some certain algorithms on how a guy gets paid, and they're allegedly making guarantees to fighters on fights which don't make what they need to make to pay the guarantee. That's a whole different show. But you see all of that stuff is so messy. It's so messy. Of all the major promotional groups, they seem it's the secret group. It's the cultish group. It's too messy over there. I wouldn't want to take a fighter over there as a manager. I wouldn't want to do it. But you know something, guys? I know you probably still got things on your mind, things you want to say.
Yeah,
things
I'm already thinking, Rafi.
Things you want to say that again?
I'm already turning into a pumpkin.
Yeah, exactly. This has got an hour longer than I had anticipated. But we got all we got all the people in here that wanted to be in here, and that's great. It's a Friday thing. I'd only done one earlier on in the week, and I don't feel good unless I do it 2 times. So had to bring it to you one last time for the week. We had to make it 2 shows, not just 1 live show. I love 2 shows. I love 2 live shows. Okay, so that is it. We've gone through the whole topic list, gone longer than I had wanted to go or expected to go, but I hope you enjoyed it for sure. Smash the like button. And if you're new here or have not yet subscribed, but you're back here more than once, and obviously I like it, so hit that bell icon to make sure you stay updated with news and notifications. And for sure, if you like the live fight companion shows, then for sure smack that PayPal button. For the price of a beer, you just hit the PayPal button and you can do the transaction over the phone just with the digits, just by keying in the digits. For the price of a beer, you can make a donation. Okay, so final words. Phil Walker, your final words, my friend. And thank you for coming over here, Phil Walker.
Absolutely. My final words is, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you and JD.
100.
Look, I'm excited about seeing Crawford fight this weekend. Honestly, I've been excited about the whole month of December. We've got a lot of influential fights happening.
Been a good month.
A lot of moving pieces currently. It's a lot of big news surrounding boxing overall. And anytime you have ESPN and you bring fighters on there and you pumping up the sport, that's all good. That's all good, and that's all fine and dandy. Because again, here in the States, it's a lot different than it is over there. And honestly, man, we in a sense, we're kind of envious of you guys because you guys are such big supporters of your fighters, right? So yeah, we want to get to the point to where, of course, we have that solidified foundation and get boxing to its prominence in the States like it once was. Anything that happened once can also happen again. I'm a firm believer in that. So with that being said, it's always a pleasure to come on with you guys, have difference of opinions, and we respect one another's opinions. 100. And to me, it's all about boxing all the time, and that's just good commentary for the people coming in and listening. Hit the thumbs up button and support boxing, no matter what platform it's on.
100%. That's Phil Walker from Texas. Always good to have Phil come on, jump on with us. And final words from John D. Lee.
2-time.
2-time. And if anybody hasn't seen that damn video, I expected that video to be at 1,000 hits by now. It's called Saudi Arabia Shows Joshua Love, or Love in Saudi, or something like that. But it's a very fun video. If you haven't seen it, you're only hurting yourself.
It's good speaking with Phil. Very sensitive opinion. Yeah, good show, Rafi. Good show. I'm flagging.
Yeah. I thought I'd be on for 1.5 hours because I didn't advertise it. I was going to be on. I just had the notion, but we were supposed to be in Nottingham. I was going to do something with True School Sports, but then that didn't get the go ahead. We didn't get the go ahead on that, but I do intend to meet up with him over the next few days. He's in the area.
He's a good guy. People should subscribe to his channel.
Definitely go check him out.
Boxer.
Over there, come and check this out. Two-way street. That's the
reciprocation.
Exactly, reciprocal arrangement. Okay, guys, it was an impromptu one. It's got to be 2 times with me. It's got to be 2 times. Never like to do anything once. So, and with that, I appreciate the support of Phil Walker, the support of John Dealey, the support of Lil Justin. Who else was on here? Is there somebody I forgot? I don't know. If there's somebody I forgot, I apologize. And of course, you, the people in the chat who put the great in Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. Appreciate your support. We're moving, coming to the close of 2019. Coming to the close of 2019 strong. Everybody stay strong. Everybody, let us just move forward with a degree of possibility of positivity in all areas of one's life. With that said, it's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. It's the like. It's the subscribe. It's the comment. It's the shares. And it is the hitting that bell icon to stay updated with news and notifications. Thank you, one and all, and peace to all. Final words from me is blessed.